All right, gang, here we are. We are back and live on the old soapbox. Wanted to hop on. It's Sunday morning before an advanced coaching concept seminar, day 2, down here in Charleston, which is pretty awesome. So wanted to hop on and just give a little discussion on, are you an Rx'd athlete or scaled athlete, and really kind of understand what that actually means, why there's an Rx'd, and then obviously the intent of scaling. But conversation is nice and high at a seminar. We've had some recent stuff going on with the hand plan where we've had some really good conversations with people, so it's been in the front of the mind. And no doubt it's a question we always get. What is Rx'd? What does that mean? And then from there, should I have a RX plus? What if my athletes always want to scale? What if I always feel like I'm scaling all these things? And so I think there's a lot in this conversation. But I think the big thing is James hopped on our Instagram this past week and was like, hey, you have to stop labeling yourself as a RX'd or scaled athlete. You're just an athlete. And I think that's the very first step. And I think, I'm going to approach this conversation towards coaches, but 100% should be listened to by athletes as well, with the understanding that it's the coach's job to transmit the intent of the class, the intent of the workout, the intent and of the stimulus to our members and our athletes. Therefore, by the end of the intro and the warm-up, and while they're getting ready for the workout, they are where they need to be based off their quality of movement, based off their previous workout experiences, how their body's feeling, and also based off their actual physical ability. So now, if that gets you prescribed, great. Most people scale, understanding that, most people are probably going to scale a workout. Depending on the complexity or loading of a given workout, you might see 95 to 98% of your classes scaling. And one might ask them, why would you program that? And we always say we program for the best and we scale for the rest. But really what this does is we need to challenge everybody. And if we get away from the sense of how important it is to go prescribed, then what does it matter, right? It's like, well, why wouldn't you just program an RX plus? Well, that means what we're really doing is saying it's unattainable for some, or it's only, this type of fitness is limited for only a certain population, and that is what we are against. We want to stop limiting ourselves, and by putting ourselves in boxes. CrossFit's beauty and separation from the fitness field is because everyone learns how to snatch and handstand walk. We scale it appropriately. We give you a PVC pipe, or we start with the pike walk or a bear crawl, right? But everyone has the opportunity to learn. There's no movements. All right, gang. I was interrupted by a FaceTime from my daughter and my wife, so I apologize, but let's get back into it. And we separate ourselves because everyone has the opportunity to learn these movements. There's movements that are off limits, and some might not want to do them, and that's a different conversation for a different day. But that's why we have prescribed movements. And it's such an important notion to get across to our coaches, to deliver the workout with an understanding of what is the stimulus. And quality of movement really does matter here. I train a lot of athletes that have been doing CrossFit for a long time. And quite frankly, these are the athletes that are the hardest to coach. But really, it's like, they just haven't gotten a lot of coaching. So I'll go up to them and I'll tell them, hey, we're going to scale this, we're going to do this. And it's never a discussion of RX or scaled. It's just a discussion of, I want you at this weight because of these factors, if I need to. Sometimes they're just like, okay, I'll do whatever you say, or I just tell them, hey, we're not getting this X movement, or I'm not seeing what I need to see here, so this is why I'm doing this, and laying it out that way. I never ask them what they want. I tell them what I want to see, and I tell them how we're going to do it. It is a conversation together, but really it's a dictatorship, and I tell them that. And what's the beautiful aspect about understanding a prescribed workout, really this is it, guys, the nugget right here, is that it gives us inspiration. when you write, and there's no male or female Rx'd in theory here, guys. There is simply an Rx'd. And the Rx'd is prescribed, and because and in this day and age where everyone's worried about everything being equal and all this other stuff, which is great, it's not a conversation for right now. But the nice thing is, human movement is the common language. Human movement is the equalizer. And so when we see a workout, Fran 21:59 thrusters and pull-ups, yes, that's the workout. Now, if we have to scale it, we'll scale it, and that's okay. Now, yes, in competition, even in gyms, right, we see workout loadings. It gives us guidance. It helps us, get to where we want to have a stimulus maybe a little quicker and more effectively. But, Angie's just Angie, 100 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats. There's no female version of Angie because that's just the workout. So remember that. Now, we don't want to limit ourselves, and we've even seen it with our women, where we've often done like 67% of the Rx'd weight is a good place for Rx'd women, and quite frankly, what we're seeing is that it's probably too light for ladies, and that's a limiting factor. The first time I saw my good friend Annie Thorsdottir do DT, 12 deadlifts, 9 hang power cleans, 6 push jerks at 155 pounds in 12 minutes or so, 7-8 years ago. I thought to myself, 1, that's very amazing. 2, she did that prescribed. And if there was not a prescribed load, she would not have done that. And that's the beautiful aspect of it. You remember your first prescribed workout if you've done one, and you'll never forget it. You remember your first double under. That's a prescribed movement. When you do your first double under, it's amazing. You get this amazing thing. There's a reason why we have range of motion standards. There's a reason why your arms are straight at the bottom of a pull-up and your chin gets over the bar, because when you get your first pull-up, it's pretty amazing. So, again, let's not shy away from not putting Rx'd up there, because it's important to have that. Because honestly, when you write a workout, if I read a workout and I have something in mind, I have a stimulus in mind, I have a thought in mind, that is the prescribed. It wouldn't be right for me not to put it there, because now what I'm trying to do is I'm gonna give you all this explanation, but there's still just something lacking for you to hit what that prescribed might be at the very, and at the very least, it's like, all right, I have to do less explanation in theory, because now I'm like, hey, this is the intent. The intent for Fran is to be a light barbell. 95 pounds is a light barbell. And people are like, wow, it's not light for me. That's okay. We'll get there, because I think it's important too that there's this level of humility of okay, I have work to do as well. When do I think it's okay not to worry about the prescribed weight? Well, all the time. I don't think it's a worry thing. It's a guidance thing. And it's a part of the program that we are. And, I know people that just make workouts and do them. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because what you're really doing is you're making a workout that fits where you're at. And that's what I'll do sometimes. Like I just make a workout, and it's not like it's prescribed. I'm just looking for a stimulus. If I were to write that workout for a bunch of people, I now would have to write what I did. Yesterday I did 400 meter ski erg and 10 sandbag cleans at 150. That's the workout. And what was I trying to achieve? I wanted to have the skis under X time, and I wanted the sandbag cleans to be heavy-ish but consistent, and I wanted the workout under 15 minutes. Great. That's my thought process, and we share that, and that's what we get to our athletes. Athletes are like, okay, great. Well, in order for me to achieve that, I might need to scale this or scale that in order to achieve that end state. So no longer does it become about Rx'd or die just because you should. It becomes, I'm looking for the stimulus, and it really does start from the coach and your presentation of that. Because what do you really want? And I think that's the last little question. It's like, well, it's what do you want? Do you want to look good naked? Do you want to get results? Then we need to scale. Because whether it's your physical or psychological or both limitations for that day, we need to be operating within those margins. And to get proper adaptation, you can move poorly, and you can move a load that's too heavy for you or too light for you and get some level of a stimulus, of course. But across the long term, we're going to be missing something or increasing our risk for injury, which we want to avoid. So again, are you Rx or are you scaled? Doesn't matter. You're just an athlete, and you might scale the workout today. When I have injuries or when I'm not feeling great, I'll scale the workout. The other day I worked out with all my buddies, and there was very heavy squat snatches. I did the first round with the weight, the second round I did power snatches, and then the third round I did some squat cleans because I wanted to use the same weight as them. So I just changed the movement so I could move with them. That was scaling. I scaled the workout, and it's not that I'm a scaled athlete and there's no ego involved. I just wanted to train my buddies. So check the ego. And it's harder it's harder said than done, and it's okay. And really start to dive into this stuff. Coaches, it's your responsibility to do this. That's why we can't do strength and metcon every day. It's why we can't do 2 parts, because you're not a good enough coach to scale everybody and get them where they need to be. If there's too much in a class, nobody is. And all you're doing is blowing the whistle and not getting people where they need to be. You're not optimizing their workout, therefore their results are not optimized. You're just pushing people through a bunch of mess. They think they want it, but they don't know what's on the other side, right? It's sort of ignorance is bliss until you realize what you've been missing out on. And that's something that where we need to take time to scale. So I really wanted to spend a quick little episode on this. It's been hot, but again, hopefully I can edit out sort of the quick little phone call in there. But scaling, prescribed, write a prescribed workout. This is not a programming discussion. It's a really understanding of who you are and what you do and why you do it. It starts from the coach, trickles down to the athletes, and then to your community. And you don't become an Rx'd or Die or competitive community. You just become a fitness and community. And you support people when they get their first Rx'd, whatever it's a pull-up or a workout. And that's special, and you can celebrate that. So that's what I have for you guys. Work hard, have fun, hit me up if you have questions. Let's keep cranking.